Welcome to yet another FPL video. Now, I have to say, a very, very disappointing week for most people, including myself. And I think it could have gone entirely differently. People like Salah, who I'll get onto, Grealish, Lamptey, could have had so many more points. And some things are just really baffling. But there's not much that you can do. And I know a lot of you will be panicking and thinking, oh, I need to change stuff in my team. I had a really poor week. I had 20 points, 30 points, 40 points, maybe even, in the tens, which would be, even more awful. But to be honest, I think a lot of managers who have very good teams did poorly, and even those who might have some odd picks, they probably did very well. But in the long run, yeah, you'll be fine if you just don't panic and keep chopping and changing and tinkering. But yeah, I have to say, I played my wildcard as well, and this is probably the worst week to have played the wildcard. But the main point of my wildcard was to change my structure, to bring in some key players in my team who are pretty much set and forgets, and also is for the long term. I'm not really too concerned with the short term only. I also want to think beyond that, and hopefully next week looks much better. But I'll do a quick analysis of my team, and I have to say, statistics aren't everything, and this game week shows it, and I'll be explaining why I say that later on. But I got 42 points on a wildcard. That's probably one of the worst wildcards I've ever played in the short term anyway, at least for the immediate week where I play it. But very confident with this team going forward. I'm actually not even too sure about what transfers to make, but yeah, I've gone down to 170k in the world. I was 80-ish k, but yeah, it's early days, really. Early days. We're going into game week 7 soon, and yeah, game week 6 and 3, I have to say, just definitely, I want to forget about them. I have to say, even though I got less in game week 3, game week 6 was just even more of a stranger week where just nothing went your way. But I'll start in goal, and I have to say, Aston Villa, they lost 3-0 to Leeds, and Bamford has now pretty much popped up as one of the must-have strikers. And I'm still happy about Martinez, and the reason why is because he's conceded 3 goals and still gets 3 points. And that's the main reason I got him, because with someone like McCarthy, if they concede 3 goals, he's not going to get 3 points most of the time. He's probably going to get 1 or 2. But the save points that Martinez gets, that's a bonus, and I'm not expecting clean sheets, like I said before, from Martinez and Villa every week, but what I am expecting are some points pretty consistently, or at least in some weeks, and a very good run until game week 15. Aston Villa had a really off day. Leeds were just on it and were the better team, deserved to win. But yeah, with Martinez, pretty happy, to be honest. It's mainly with the other Aston Villa player, I have Grealish, where this is a sign of things not going your way for the week, and he had a shot cleared off the line, and he also did a solo run, which could have been one of the best Premier League goals in a long time. And yeah, just a tame shot at the end. But Grealish on another day, instead of getting a yellow and 1 point, he could have got double digits. But yeah, not too concerned with him. He's not someone I'm expecting to return every single week. He's 7 million for a reason. But yeah, him and Zaha have now appeared to be the best at that price, along with James. And I know a lot of you will be going to Zaha. But yeah, Grealish, I've got him in here, and reasonably happy with him. Hopefully he delivers in the next few games. But yeah, very disappointing on the Friday. And now moving on to Lamptey, who played on the final day. He actually got the assist for the own goal, but for some reason he didn't get it. I think it deflected off 2 people or whatever, but still, he should be getting the assist. If you look at how Mane got his first assist, it's ridiculous how this guy didn't get it. And then what happens like 1 minute later? He gets a yellow card. It's absolutely unbelievable. And he actually concedes pretty late on. And this is the thing. This is where I'm talking about the stats coming into play. Brighton have one of the best defences on paper in terms of the statistics, in terms of expected goals conceded, in terms of shots conceded. I think they're one of the lowest, if not the lowest. And they still concede goals regularly. They've only got 1 clean sheet so far, which was against Newcastle, who are a pretty poor side. So to be honest, yeah, statistics aren't everything. And if there is anyone I probably want to transfer out, it's Lamptey, because yeah, they've got some decent fixtures like Burnley at home coming up. But what's the point if they're not going to, match their defensive statistics and actually get those clean sheets? And if Lamptey's not even going to get the assist that he deserves, then yeah, he's just not worth owning. But yeah, I thought he'd be doing very well against West Brom, but to be honest, when the Monday came, I was naturally very cynical, and I was expecting Lamptey to not get a clean sheet even, and yeah, I was proven right, and 1 point. And now I have to say, probably the worst decision I made was making a late substitution, Kilman in for Saiss. Now, the reasoning behind this was I was more guaranteed in Kilman starting and also in getting bonus points. And if it wasn't for the late goal conceded, Kilman would actually be on bonus points and Saiss would have pretty much got nothing really, just the clean sheet that he banked from being substituted early. But lo and behold, Saiss gets substituted for Marcel and Wolves concede late on from a free kick because Rui Patricio can't organise a free kick wall. So yeah, a bit unlucky, but also there wasn't really a need to change it. If I was going to bring on Kilman, it probably should have been for Lamptey in hindsight, but it is what it is. Saiss might not even be in the starting lineup next week, which is very interesting. And I've got both of them, so I've got a bit of dilemma there. But I also have that cover in case Wolves do actually keep a clean sheet and I actually benefit from it. But yeah, a bit disappointing. But Kilman played well again, and I have to say he's doing very well for Wolves. And for 4 million, if he continues to start, yeah, he's one of the best options. And the fixtures do turn soon, however, as you can see, some very tough fixtures coming up. But yeah, at least I have benefited a bit from the Wolves clean sheets recently, but yeah, not from the game against Newcastle. And to be honest, against Newcastle at home, you really should be winning, especially if you have aspirations to finish in the top 6 or in the top 4. But it is what it is. As for Robertson, to be honest, yeah, I don't know. I don't think it was a penalty. I think it could have been outside the box. But VAR has just been awful, or at least it's been used awfully. It's not the technology itself. And Robertson, yeah, didn't really do much of note. And Trent actually got an assist for Salah's goal, but it was ruled offside. But yeah, Robertson, still confident in the long term. That's his second blank of the whole season. Even in the Champions League, he's done well. So yeah, I'm not too concerned with Robertson. And he's got some reasonable fixtures coming up where he can get some points. Obviously, Man City away isn't ideal, but yeah, at this point, I don't even know like which defenders to bench and when, because it's just clean sheets are so hard to come by. And once again, all of my defenders and keeper blank, and that's a lot of points lost. As for James Rodriguez, who was the big talking point last week, he ended up being fit, and I kept him in my team. And to be honest, probably should have got Zaha, but James Rodriguez is still someone I'd want to have. He's actually still got a muscle injury. During the game late on, he wanted to be substituted. He gestured to the bench, but they had no more substitutions left. So we'll have to wait and see. But Ancelotti said he should be fine. But then again, can we trust him after his comments last week? Well, probably not. But they've got some reasonable fixtures coming up as well. But I don't know. It's mainly in the home games that James has produced. I don't think he has produced at all in the away games. So that's something to bear in mind. But at home, he's delivered consistently. But we'll have to wait and see. Everton, they definitely need James Rodriguez because Calvert-Lewin looks like less of a great asset if James isn't playing. And there's no Richarlison, no Digne potentially because of the red card. If it's not revoked, then yeah, Everton are looking a lot weaker and they'll probably start dropping some more points and not being as good in terms of assets on FPL. So yeah, it's not ideal here with James Rodriguez, but on paper it was the right decision to keep him in. And Calvert-Lewin got a yellow card. Another player got a yellow card for me. Very disappointing, but he's delivered every single week. It's like I said, it's impossible to maintain that. I expected him to blank against Liverpool, if anything, but it happened against Southampton. Southampton were very, very good, I have to say. They were just phenomenal on that day, and they deserved to win easily. Could have been more as well. Everton were just so off it. But yeah, not much more to say. I think Calvert-Lewin, I know a lot of you would be thinking, oh, Bamford in for Calvert-Lewin or for another one of my strikers, but I would heed caution, but I can understand why. Bamford is very cheap, and away from home anyway, he's delivering so consistently, and that's what we want. And speaking of consistency, Heung-min Son is just on fire. He's got the most points of any player this season with 69. He's only blanked twice, one in the first game against Everton and then another one where he got substituted at half-time. But look at that, 3 double-digit returns in a row, and then he got 24 against Southampton in game week 2. It's just, this guy is just on it, and I know the fixtures turn, but why would you get rid of both Spurs assets? Why even get rid of like any of them if they're going to just keep delivering? Because at the moment, Spurs are the most reliable team in FPL, if we're being honest, apart from maybe Liverpool. So yeah, Son and Kane just absolutely just on it this season, unfortunately. But yeah, at least they're both in my team. And Kane, yeah, another assist. They actually removed the points at one point, and I don't know why they did that, but they added them back at least. That really would have been classic game week 6 if they didn't give the points for that. But yeah, Kane, same thing. I know he's 10.5 or now 10.9 million, but yeah, I mean, with that money, would you want to spend it on Sterling and De Bruyne, who haven't really been on it, or Bruno Fernandes, when Kane is just so much better at the moment? And look how many points he's got for a striker. Imagine if he was a midfielder. He'd literally be the highest scoring player in the whole game. He's got 8 assists and 5 goals, so many bonus points. And yeah, nearly half the game owns him now. Yeah, so not much of a differential. The only thing I would say is a bit of a differential is having him and Heung-min Son. But yeah, at least I've got them both, and I'll see how they do over the next few weeks, and I'll probably keep them for some of their tough games and then analyse how they play. But I have to say, before all of you think that, oh, you know what, I don't have any Spurs players, let me bring in both of them, just a bit of caution, because Spurs were very defensive against Burnley, and Burnley were the ones who actually dominated. They had more shots and all of that, and Spurs were just focused on tightening up their back line because of what happened against West Ham, where they bottled it. And that could play a part in the future, because if they're just so focused on defence and they're kind of absorbing pressure and all of that, they're not going to be as free-flowing going forward. And maybe the double-digit returns from Son and Kane aren't going to be so consistent going into the future. But still, for now, I will keep both of them. But I've got that in the back of my mind in case I want to make a switch for someone else. And moving on to my captain, once again, very disappointing. He hit the post. He had a goal disallowed. On another day, he could have got 20 plus points, but it's just not that week. And yeah, I think on another day, Salah does very well, and that turns the week from a pretty poor one to a decent one. But yeah, Salah got West Ham at home next. He's got a fantastic record against them, and he's definitely one of the standout captaincy options yet again. So yeah, Salah, I'm not too fussed about that because I know that he's pretty unlucky not to get the points. But yeah, there's not much more that needs to be said about Salah. Still one of the best options in the game. And Mane delivered with 2 assists, but I'd still prefer Salah for his penalties and also just for his... He's just so hungry for goals. And like I said, I think he deserves some points against Sheffield. Now, going into my last player, the only one who delivered for me really, apart from Son and Kane, Danny Ings. And I have to say thank you, Danny Ings. I brought him in on a wild card. I know a lot of you recommended Maupay, but I just don't trust Maupay, and I know he missed a good chance against West Brom, and he also had a goal disallowed because he was just way offside. But Danny Ings is just so consistent, and he's got a great record against Everton, and he fulfilled it again with 2 assists. And he's fixture-proof. He can literally do well in every single game. The only thing now is with people like Bamford, I know a lot of you would be put off to someone like Danny Ings, but still good value for 8.5 million. There's also Jimenez, who scored in back-to-back games. But Wolves, just offensively, I think they've been very lucky to score those goals, and probably not sustainable. But as for Danny Ings, he's looked more creative than Jimenez, and compared to most strikers around his price bracket, he's getting the goals. Danny Ings is just someone that I could probably keep for a long time. But yeah, people like Bamford knocking on the door, and if I want to make switches, get Chilwell in defence or other stuff like that in the midfield, then one of my strikers will have to make way most likely, because I've got a lot of money tied up there. But yeah, Danny Ings, very, very good. Very happy with him. And yeah, just whenever I have him, he just does the business. Last season as well, he did it. And he's the real deal, I think. As for my substitutes, like I said, didn't really miss out on much apart from Saiss. But like I said, that was a mistake from me, making the last minute substitution. But also pretty unlucky, if we're honest, just getting substituted and all of that. But yeah, statistics aren't everything. They really aren't. And... yeah, West Brom had one of the least or the lowest expected goals, and Brighton have one of the least expected goals conceded, and look how that ends, stuff like that. So don't pay too much attention on stats. They're a bit of a guide, but don't base your decision solely on that. I think form, in my opinion, is the best judge, and look at the players who are delivering consistently, the teams who are keeping the most clean sheets, the teams scoring the most goals and all of that, and then make your decisions from there. But yeah, moving on to my team for game week 7, it looks very good on paper. It does, but I mean, it looked good on paper last week, and look what happened. But Martinez at home to Southampton. He's up against Ings, who's obviously facing Villa. To be honest, hopefully, if Villa blank, if they don't get the clean sheet, hopefully Ings is the reason why they do that. But I don't know. I would expect some points from that game, but also not really counting on it. As for the defence, double up against Palace at home because Basuma and Lamptey have got Tottenham away, and then Struijk has got Leicester at home. So yeah, not really too keen there. So like I said, a transfer I could make is Lamptey to someone like Kyle Walker-Peters, or just wait for another week, get Bamford in up front, and also get Chilwell in for Lamptey, and that's already a big upgrade there. Chilwell would start most weeks along with Robertson and probably Saiss. So yeah, I'm definitely not going to bench Saiss this week, but like I said, there's the possibility he doesn't even play. But I should have someone covered from Wolves anyway by having one of them playing at least. And in terms of the midfield, looking very good as well. You look at all the fixtures, you look at the form of players, even Grealish, who didn't produce but still had a very good game against Leeds United. You would expect some returns there. James Rodriguez, we'll see what happens with him. Of course, if he's a bit of an injury doubt for a few weeks, which he doesn't look like at the moment, but let's say if he is, I don't know, you could go for Zaha, you could go for someone else, but I'll be honest, I'm still not too keen. Zaha, I will admit, he might not be a trap as we first thought, but yeah, apart from him, I don't trust Harvey Barnes, Leicester, just really it's Vardy or Castagna or one of their defenders, but you really wouldn't want anyone else. And Salah captaincy, I have to say it's between him, Son and Kane at the moment. And Kane has a great record against Brighton as well. I think he's got 4 goals in 6 games. Salah has a fantastic record against West Ham. But West Ham are better this season, and they've got points against Man City, against Spurs. They've beaten Leicester 3-0 away. They're no pushovers, and they could actually cause Liverpool some problems. And yeah, Calvert-Lewin, hopefully he starts banging in the goals again. He just had no service really against Southampton, and he looked a bit off it himself, but just the team in general were pretty poor. And yeah, like I said, it's a pretty decent team. I'm happy with it, and I don't see a real need to make a transfer as of yet. I could just save it for next week and then have 2 and have more flexibility with my transfers. But let me know what you think I should do in terms of transfers, and what should I do? Do you think I should maybe get rid of Saiss or Kilman? I wouldn't say Kilman, I mean he's 4.1 million, but yeah. Should I get rid of Lamptey? To be honest, he's the main guy that I want to get rid of already. But apart from that, pretty happy with everyone else, especially Danny Ings. You know, he's actually producing. The Spurs duo are still doing very well. Salah, pretty much a season keeper. And Grealish, like I said, for 7 million, him and Zaha are the standout options. James Rodriguez should be delivering, even if they are facing Newcastle away, and James has a poor record away from home in terms of FPL. But still, I would expect him to do a bit better in this game. But yeah, just have to wait and see. But yeah, like I keep telling all of you, do not panic and do not just chop and change your team, because last year when I played a wildcard and had a very poor week, I immediately made a lot of changes and it just didn't work out. And I probably would have done much better if I just kept the players I had and stuck with them, because there was a reason why I got them in. And same with these players here. And to be honest, I've got the structure I want, so I'm happy with that. The only things that can change are the variables. So people like Grealish, they could make way for someone else. People like Lamptey, people maybe like Ings or Kane, they could all change, but I'd still ultimately have 3-4-3 as my formation. And that's what I solved on my wildcard. The problem obviously was having a poor week. That does damage your confidence a bit, but you've just got to keep on going. Most people had a poor week, and the fact that I only went down by not even 100k in rank shows that, you know, everyone had a poor week, because I had 42 points. That's really poor. But I'm expecting better this week, and hopefully I get the captaincy decision right. And like I said, it's between Salah, Son and Kane. Who would you captain? Let me know down in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you're new. Turn on notifications for future videos. And I will be posting on the community tab my final team, the locked in team, like I've been doing for UCL Fantasy. So if you want to also check that out, check out those videos and also the community tab, the stuff that I've been posting on there. But yeah, very tough decisions, and everyone wants Bamford. Even I'm swayed by him a bit, but let's be real, like he's been largely overperforming his expected goals, and people like Salah and Grealish just lowly underperformed their expected goals. So yeah, just take all these metrics and statistics with a pinch of salt. There's a long way to go, but yeah, stay positive and keep faith in your team and try not to change it too much. Trust me on that. But yeah, if you still got your wildcard saved, that's very good, and that is a big advantage, especially when you're navigating the double game weeks that are going to come in maybe around game week 15 onwards, could be earlier. But yeah, there's a lot of different scenarios to kind of conquer and to surpass. But yeah, plan ahead, always plan ahead. But yeah, thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.